By the end of this video, you will know how reality works. Welcome. In the 1970s, something remarkable happened on American television. A quiet, unassuming inventor named Itzhak Bentov stepped onto the screen and began to describe reality in ways that seemed impossible, outrageous, and yet deeply familiar to the human spirit. But then he showed them diagrams that made perfect sense but no scientist could disprove, pictures of a universe that looked like the target patterns from a drug trip but had been observed in cymatic experiments as well. What was he talking about? Well, essentially everything, or more accurately, the relationship between everything, the connection between parts, and the whole. That's because Bentov claimed that these patterns were not found only in sand or water, but were the very essence of consciousness, a blueprint of the universe, what we today call the holographic multiverse. But here's the thing, mainstream science ignored him. But intelligence agencies took notice, especially the CIA, who soon sent their operatives to listen to Bentov speak. Why? Well, that's another fascinating story. One involving the CIA's top-secret gateway project and a last-minute cancellation that allowed one researcher to attend Bentov's lectures. The material he taught would later become the basis for the CIA's research. So if you want to know how they cracked open the hidden potential of the human mind, well, it starts with Itzhak Bentov. He began his public talks by asking the audience to imagine a brick wall. When we look at it, we see a solid structure, reliable, unchanging. And yet, he said, that wall flickers in and out of existence faster than we can think. That's because at the atomic level, there is no such thing as solid matter at all. Everything is empty space. And so when we look at any object, we are seeing not a real thing but a projection. In other words, our senses cannot perceive reality directly, but only interpret information filtered through our own nervous system. This gives us the illusion of a solid world, but in truth, everything is always changing. And this happens much faster than we can perceive, like a movie projector flashing images on a screen, creating the illusion of movement. Similarly, Bentov argued, the illusion of reality comes from our own nervous system, which filters and interprets data from our senses, creating the illusion of a steady world. And so reality is not solid at all, but a flickering projection. But then he went further. In addition to the flicker of atoms, he said, every particle also pulses on and off exactly 14 times every second, meaning the flow of reality is actually more like a strobe light than a continuous stream. And why 14? Because 14 is the number of pairs of opposites, the 7 primary chakras. It is the bridge between the spiritual and physical realms, the key to understanding reality. For example, we live on Earth, a planet composed of electromagnetics, the dynamic interplay between positive and negative charges. But this force isn't limited to our planet. According to Bentov, everything in the universe is held together by the same energy, the attraction between opposite charges. He showed how these forces create everything from the orbits of planets to the structure of atoms. And then he explained how the same laws apply to consciousness too. Just as particles pulse in waves of 14 pairs of opposites, our minds cannot exist without the interplay of thoughts, the dynamic tension between ideas and emotions. So now you might be wondering, what does all this mean? Well, according to Bentov, everything is connected by a single field of energy, a living web of electromagnetics. Every part affects the whole, and the whole manifests in every part. Nothing is independent or self-contained. And this applies to us as humans too. Our actions affect others and the world around us. And the state of the world around us affects us, our moods, our emotions. But Bentov didn't stop there. He dived deeper into the nature of reality, challenging conventional views with a radical idea, showing how his theories had been inspired by Eastern wisdom, Kabbalah, Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism. He wasn't a religious man, but he recognized the profound insights of these ancient traditions, how they described the universe in terms of a single field of consciousness. But then came the most controversial claim of all. Bentov argued that the human body is simply a receiver, tuning into this endless broadcast of awareness. Consciousness is not generated by the brain, but is already present everywhere. Our bodies receive it like radio antennas picking up signals from distant galaxies. To him, the human body was a biophysical antenna receiving transmissions from the field of consciousness. And then he revealed the ultimate mystery, what happens after death. According to Bentov, the journey of consciousness doesn't end with death, but continues into higher dimensions. The human soul is immortal, evolving beyond the limitations of the physical body. And to illustrate this, he drew diagrams that shocked some viewers, showing how souls can move freely through different dimensions, leaving behind the constraints of our three-dimensional world. And then he brought it all together. Love and gravity are not separate mysteries, but the same universal force pulling all things toward unity. The ancient myths of the cosmic egg, Indra's net, and the absolute are not metaphors, but blueprints of existence, describing the interconnected web of reality that science was only beginning to glimpse through cymatics, fractals, and quantum theory. And so, in the end, Bentov left us with a legacy, a set of teachings that challenged the status quo, a reminder that there's more to reality than meets the eye. His work didn't fit neatly into any box. It was too esoteric for some scientists, too mystical for some academics. But that didn't stop him from sharing his insights, from spreading his message. But here's where the story takes a turn. In 1979, Bentov boarded American Airlines Flight 191. The plane was scheduled to take off from New York City and land in Los Angeles. But shortly after takeoff, disaster struck. The plane disintegrated in the air, killing all 271 passengers on board. Among them, Itzhak Bentov. The news of his sudden death shocked many. Some saw it as a tragic accident, a random event in the vastness of the sky. Others wondered if there was more to the story, if perhaps Bentov's ideas had gotten him into dangerous waters, attracting unwanted attention. But the truth of the matter is, we may never know. The official reports pointed to mechanical failure. But some couldn't help but wonder if there was more to the story. And then there's the question of his legacy. Bentov's work didn't end with his death. In fact, it sparked a wave of interest in consciousness studies and the nature of reality. His diagrams and theories became a source of inspiration for generations of researchers and thinkers, shaping the way we understand the universe and our place in it. It's a legacy that lives on, a testament to the power of the human mind to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. So here's the deal. What Bentov was doing was basically hacking reality, revealing the codes that govern the universe, showing how consciousness connects us all. His inventions and ideas weren't meant to be locked away in labs or buried in books. No, he wanted to share them with the world, to awaken humanity to the truth of our existence. But let me ask you a question. Why do you think the CIA got interested in Bentov's work? What was it about his ideas that they wanted to explore further? Well, it's simple. Because they were on the verge of a major breakthrough. You see, the CIA had launched a top-secret initiative called the Gateway Project, dedicated to exploring the hidden potential of the human mind, things like out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, astral projection. These were not fringe ideas in comic books, but serious areas of study. And Bentov's work was the missing piece of the puzzle, the key to understanding the nature of consciousness and the universe itself. Now let's talk about Robert Monroe, a CIA researcher who stumbled upon Bentov's lectures by pure chance. Imagine that, fate stepping in to change the course of history. Monroe was supposed to be on a different flight, but a scheduling mix-up led him to Bentov's presentation. And what did he learn? Well, the very essence of consciousness. Bentov's insights were a revelation, a glimpse into the hidden mechanisms of the universe, and what happened next is nothing short of incredible. Monroe and his team at the CIA delved deep into Bentov's teachings, applying his principles to their research. They explored the holographic nature of reality, the connection between consciousness and the physical world. And they discovered that everything Bentov had proposed was not just theory, but a practical reality. They learned how to use this knowledge, how to harness the power of consciousness to explore the universe, to tap into the hidden potential of the human mind. But as we know, top-secret projects come with a price. Monroe and his team were walking a tightrope, balancing the boundaries of knowledge and secrecy. They were pushing the limits of human understanding, but they were doing it in the shadows, away from the public eye. They knew that if their work was exposed, it could change the world as we know it. But it could also spark fear, misunderstanding, even chaos. However, the project was eventually shut down, but not before making some groundbreaking discoveries. Their findings laid the foundation for new ways of understanding the universe, new frontiers of human exploration. And so the legacy of Bentov, Monroe, and the CIA Gateway Project lives on. Even in the shadows, their work has had an impact. It's a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a powerful force, a testament to the courage of those who dare to explore the unknown. So what does it all mean? How does the work of Itzhak Bentov, the CIA's Gateway Project, and the insights of modern science come together to shape our understanding of reality? Well, it means that we are standing on the threshold of a new era of discovery, a time when the boundaries of human knowledge are being pushed beyond our wildest dreams. If you liked the video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you really want to dive deeper into the mysteries of consciousness and reality, check out my other videos. And remember, keep an open mind, embrace the unknown, and never stop questioning the nature of reality. Who knows what wonders await your discovery?